Good evening. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Gavin. I'm the founder of Urban Picnic. I'm just going to tell you a small story about a small startup business, food business, that went from very humble beginnings and went on to achieve some great success. It's about taking a risk, putting yourself on the line, and with true determination and grit and a bit of good luck along the way, anything is possible. So we are Urban Picnic. We create breakfast, lunch and dinner service for technology companies all over Dublin and in the region. Currently we serve about 5,500 meals a day, right across the board from Twitter, Facebook to Dennis O'Brien's Communicore. We work with some of the world's most successful and demanding tech companies, LinkedIn, Zenga and Salesforce. So what is Urban Picnic about? We are not just food providers. We're completely not just about feeding people. It's about bringing people together, making them happier and healthier, and having more productive work environments. So this is just a few little images of the passion and creativity that we bring to our food. We kind of treat our kitchens as a restaurant kitchen. So it's not necessarily restaurant food, but it's restaurant quality food or high-end restaurant food. So we cook everything from scratch in our kitchens. If we can't make it, we don't use it. So it's a little bit of a different philosophy. It didn't really exist a couple of years ago. Mostly catering companies in the past were kind of old school. They bought everything in. So we came along and offered a different approach, and it's been very successful to this date. So again, treating our kitchens like a restaurant, nothing we cook, everything is in season. So it's not in season, it's not on the plate. And that's the philosophy we follow through right up till the end. So I just want to kind of explain to you where this all came about and why. So the beginning was really Connemara, a home kitchen and a Saab 900. So I grew up in a country house hotel in the middle of Connemara. I was always surrounded by food, great food, hospitality, and a family full of entrepreneurs. I think this is where the first bit of luck came into my story. My parents gave me an amazing grounding in hospitality, and they taught me a work ethic. I think everybody in our family started to work from about the age of 8. I think I was washing pots in the kitchen. And this really helped me as I started my business, because one of the really the important things that you need to know is a work ethic and how to work extremely hard, because that's what it takes. So I can't believe I'm showing you this slide, but this is when I was 8 years old. To the left is actually my business partner, who I met when I was 8. He was the head chef in my parents' hotel, and he's really been the rock behind Urban Picnic since we started. I think it's all businesses are different. I think our business has grown so quickly, so fast, that it's very hard to do it on your own. So to bring in somebody a little bit more experienced and a professional executive chef was really a helping hand. To the right is my amazing sister, Nikki. She is the lady that lent me all of €4,000 to start my business in 2009. And I think that's quite amazing, because there is not too many businesses you can start for €4,000, particularly a business that employs 95 people today. So after kind of leaving school, I went to college to study hotel management. I found this wasn't the right place for me, so I actually dropped out after about a year. And I think it was just growing up in a hotel, being surrounded by chefs and hoteliers, and suddenly I was put in a classroom environment, and it was just something that didn't suit me. I felt, since I was 16 years old, I always had a deep passion about starting my business. And I felt at the time that in a classroom was not the best place for me at that time. And I really wanted to go out and travel around the world, which I did. And I worked in some of the best hotels and restaurants from Sydney to Brussels. I'm going to speak a little bit about the Georges Cinq in Paris, which is the hotel of its day. It's actually where I learned about excellence in food and service. And I think this stood with me till when we started Urban Picnic. And it's all about creating an amazing product. And if your product is excellent enough and you deliver it in a really great way, that's really the basis of forming a really successful company. So after leaving the Georges Cinq, I went to work for Gordon Ramsay in Claridge's in London. Just had a short stint there, and he actually opened a restaurant in Ireland. It was his first restaurant in Ireland. So I went to open the restaurant for Gordon Ramsay, and I absolutely despised it. I think it was at this point that the penny dropped. I realised that I really wanted to work for myself, and I wasn't really suited to working for other people. And I really wanted to go off and follow my parents' footsteps and my older brother and sister and do something on my own. And as I said, it was something that I really wanted to do from a young age, so I felt this was the time. So I really kind of gave up everything. It was 2008, so it was in the depths of the worst recession ever. So it was a bit of a risk to leave your job. It was a well-paid job. But I didn't doubt it for a second. I kind of figured that for me to go on and start a business, I needed to have some free time and to not be in a very stressful job. And I think that one important point here is, I didn't like it. I could still be there today. I would be miserable. And I think it's very important. We work so hard these days that it's important to do something you love. And I knew that I would love starting a business, so I took the plunge then. Came back to Dublin. I enrolled in a Start Your Own Business course, not really knowing what I wanted to do, but just knowing I wanted to do business. Could have been anything. Could have been a sweet shop. So because I was in college at night time, I took a job in a business centre, and there I came across the first 5 Facebook employees that had flown in from San Francisco. They were called a landing team, so they rented an office in this building. And I guess this is where the luck started to come into play again. I had learned and did a little bit of research about how things operated in California. I knew that food was a big part of the whole Facebook experience. And so this was an opportunity, and I think I saw the opportunity, which was a great thing. So I approached Facebook and I told them all about this amazing business plan that I had and how I had everything in place, but the one ingredient that was missing was we had no customers. So very kindly they offered to give me a trial for breakfast only, and I panicked. I didn't have any business plan or any major substantial thing behind me. It was just an idea in my head, really. So I think I had a week to get things organised and come up with this amazing breakfast, and so that was a little bit stressful. So that was the very humble beginnings. I was young and full of dreams. We started serving breakfast for 25 people in a small little office in Facebook, and it's really just this counter that you see on the left-hand side. And this was actually our first breakfast. So it was our really only capital investment at the time was this IKEA table, which was all of 80 euros. And that's about as much money as I spent at the beginning. I didn't have, I had 4,000 euros and I had to keep that 4,000 euros in case I didn't know what was coming along the line. And I think that was the interesting thing about this. You just did not know what was going to happen. And it was just about taking a punt and seeing where it led me. So I think one thing I learned here was, luck unlocked the Facebook opportunity. And what I did realize was the first day that I did my breakfast, that's when luck disappeared. That's when, you have to put in a ridiculous dedication and time needed to succeed. I think in the first 6 months, I would have worked 14, 15 hours a day. I would have got up at 2 o'clock in the morning to make everything in my home kitchen and put it into my car and drive to Facebook and set it up. So I guess it was quite amazing to get a contract with Facebook when you're starting up a business on your own and you're the only person involved in it. So I guess I had to give up the perception that there was more to it than just me. So the perception really was that everything was baked at home in my kitchen by our chef. It was transported at 6 a.m. to Facebook by our logistics team. It was set up and served by our fabulous customer-facing team, all planned by a great back-of-house team. But the reality really was, it was me that was making everything, it was me that was transporting, it was me that was setting it up, and it was me that was planning everything. But I think... But I think, I would have done anything at that time to start my business. And, I guess there was a little bit of spoofing here, but I think the lesson is you do what you have to do. There was a few other experiences like that, and you get it done, So if it meant a little white lie or a little spoof, that's what had to happen to make it work. So again, as I said, we were serving breakfast for 25 people. It gradually grew a little bit, the numbers grew a little bit, and coming up to Christmas time, word came from California, their headquarters in California, that they only wanted to have one catering company after Christmas. So there was another very high-profile Dublin catering company providing lunch, and I was just the one-man show doing breakfast. So we were the complete underdogs. And when I heard this news that they were only going to pick one after Christmas, I was terrified. This was my dream that was going to go down the tubes, and I had to do something about it. So I approached them and I asked them would they turn the tables for 2 weeks, that I could do lunch and the other company would do breakfast, so at least the employees on Facebook would have an idea of what I could provide for lunch. So they said, yes, Gavin, that's a great idea. And again, panic. So I had to move out of my home kitchen, rent a commercial kitchen, buy a van. This is where the 4,000 euros came in, hire staff for the first time. And so eventually we got my family involved and friends up, and everybody came together and we created this wonderful lunch for the 2-week period. And everybody really loved it. But so I always remember it was the 21st of December. It was 8 p.m. It's a day I'll never forget. And I saw my phone ring. I saw it was a California number, and I said, fuck, this is it. So I remember blessing myself before I answered the phone. Sorry, excuse the language. And this American lady came on the phone, and she says, God, they must really love you over there. And I said, really? Why? And she goes, you just got 98% of the vote, and we will need you to... Sorry, that's the slide. So that was actually one of the happiest days of my life. I think the lady thought I was nuts because I think I actually cried on the phone when she told me. So a few lessons learned at this stage. One was really, if you provide a small, personal and ridiculously committed service, you'll always beat corporate. If you deliver something to a small group of people that absolutely love it, it gives you, it gives you, when they love it, it gives you a really good foundation to go on and create something that you can scale and grow and roll out from the small operation we had in Facebook. So this is just a kind of a look back of where we were on day one in 2009, where we came to today. So this is the famous Saab 900. I used to actually have to hide a few streets away from Facebook because I was terrified that the other big catering company who had this big glossy van with lovely branding, colours, etc., would see me taking all my food out of this and report me or something. But so we went from 2009 to the Saab to currently we have 9 vans on the road travelling around Dublin delivering food to various different offices. This is 2009-10. It was me in the little room in Facebook, all on my own. 2012 we were 7, which I thought at the time was a huge number of people. 2013 we went to 25, which is great again, and today we stand at 95 employees. We serve 17 different offices. We started off with the 25 meals a day, and today we serve, at last counts on Friday, 5,425. So I think, in business for me, it was all about creating a product, and I felt if I focused on this product, which at the beginning was my breakfast and then became lunch, that it was all about that product. People loved it. We would be successful. It needed to be something great that was better than everybody else's, and that's what it really was. So we got off the ground in Facebook with this breakfast and lunch that everybody loved, and then it was so easy to roll it out once we've kind of tested and trialed it and knew it worked and we had confidence in it. So eventually we took up Twitter, then took on LinkedIn, Zenga, Salesforce, Airbnb, and it's kept on growing to this day. So if you think back at the little table that I showed you earlier on in the photos, so this is where we started to open up restaurants then. So this is our first restaurant in Facebook. This is one in Airbnb. This is one in Intercom, and there's several more as well. So just to give, I know there's a lot of young people here tonight that are eager to start a business. And I think some of the important things that I've learned over the years is really you need to be confident about your business idea. Someday, if you're successful, you'll be put in a position and you have to be able to succeed. When an opportunity arises, you need to be able to grab it and take it. And it was like that opportunity when I worked in that business centre and I met these people from Facebook. I saw an opportunity and I just jumped in. And yes, I might have spoofed it at the beginning, but I always had confidence in myself that we could create something really good and we wouldn't let them down. And also, I'm really lucky I haven't experienced failure. I probably will someday. But I don't know what failure is yet, but I do know failure is better than regret. So be confident, give it a go, give it a lash, and try your best. And I think in a lot of cases, if you try your best, you normally come good. Again, try the best in everything you do. If you decide to open up a bakery in the morning, make sure it's the best bakery possible. And again, that just helps you succeed, I think. And enjoy it. I think it takes so much effort. You would not believe the effort it takes to start a business and maintain it 6 years later. I think I was still 2.5 years and I hadn't taken a holiday. I was still 2.5 years and I was staying in on a Saturday night when all my friends were out. And I had to stay in and rest, so I was able to cope with everything that was going to come at me the following Monday and the following week. So life is short. I think, it needs to be something that you enjoy doing, because it is very hard, it is very difficult, particularly at the beginning. And if you don't enjoy it, life is just too short to be doing something that's difficult like that for that amount of time, if you're not really getting a kick out of it. And I really do get a kick out of it. So again, this isn't part of the questions, but I think it's my first. I've actually never stood up and spoken to people like this before. So excuse me if I'm a little bit nervous, but it's a great opportunity, and I'm really privileged to be here. And I think anybody who starts a business, the one thing that they really want to do is to help other people who want to do it. And I think I just want to speak about the benefits of starting a business as well. And every business is different, and this is just a little story. And it kind of means a lot to me, but I'm from Connemara. My dad's, he doesn't come up to Dublin that much. And I suppose when I was, okay, cool. I guess when I was younger, I dropped out of school, I didn't finish college, I did lots of things that didn't make them proud. So we had just opened our first restaurant on Facebook, and I was really keen to get my dad up and show him what I was doing. And so eventually he came up, and my dad's quite a tough man. And as I was leading him through the kitchens on Facebook, he was behind me. I was explaining, about the food and the chefs and the equipment and what we do and why we do it, etc. And one of the chefs tapped me on the shoulder and he said, Jesus, you better look at your dad there. I think he's something wrong, And I looked around and my dad is just tears streaming down his eyes. But he was proud, and it was the first time that I ever made him, really proud. And I think that's one of the things that drives me on every day and gets me up at 5 o'clock in the morning and keeps me going until 7, 8 o'clock at night time. So, there is huge benefits, and if you do get a chance, if you want to do it, go and do it, because it is a great thing. So thank you. Thanks.